In this video, I will show you how to create automated notifications for your clients and for your teams 5 days and 10 days before their retainer or subscription is about to renew, so that they receive a message and also your team knows that they can start preparing for either upselling or for preparing offboarding. So it's very simple, and I'll show you exactly how to do if you have this in your own business. So we are going to be using Make for the automation, and just to be sending, emails and Slack messages. Instead of Slack, you can use any other tool like Discord or Telegram, whatever you have your communications with your team. And I'm going to use here an example using Airtable, but you can use your CRM or any other tool, Google Sheets, anything where you can track how many days are left until the payment renewal. And so in this case, I'm using some demo accounts. You have here the payment date. So let's say usually their payment date is on the 7th, and this always calculates how many days are until then. You'd be able to do this if it's in our table. This is the formula. If you want to copy, it's like this. And if you're using Google Sheets or CRM or a different CRM you can use, they will for sure have the same type of formulas or a way to calculate numbers. So once you have this, you want to go into the automations. In this case of Airtable, you have the automations tab here. And we will want to have a notification for 10 days before the client renews and 5 days before the client renews. Actually, I see here that I have this the opposite, so we're going to change this to 5 days. And let's update it. We're going to change this to 10 days. All right, so let me show you what these automations do. Here it is. So when a record matches some specific conditions, so when the table clients, which is this table where we were here, let me show you. Here, this table clients has a record that the days until payment renewal equals 5. So it's when this formula equals 5, we are going to run. Basically, this is the trigger. And so the action for this is we send here a webhook that basically sends a payload to a webhook in Make, which I'm going to show you how to create in a bit. And it sends all the information for this row of these clients. We don't need all the information, all of it, but maybe some of the infos are useful. So it's good to just send everything. And then we have exactly the same scenario, or exactly the same automation. We just duplicate it and change here the days until renewal to 10. So once it's 10, we'll want to get also an automation run. So let's see how this automation works. We are using one automation for both, so we filter here 5 days or 10 days, but you can do one automation for the 5 days and one automation for the 10 days. Now, it starts with a webhook. So in Make, if you don't know, you will, once you create here a scenario, you will see something like this. You click on the plus, and then you can choose a webhook, custom webhook, and then you click Ads, and you give this a name. So it would be, I don't know, renewal notifications, for example, right? You would give this, you would save it, and then you would see something like this. Let me go grab it. You'd see a URL. So you're going to copy this URL address, and it's that you're going to paste inside this script here on this part. So on this part of the webhook, you just paste it there, and it's going to be good to go. If you're using two different ones, just make sure to update different ones on each corresponding automation. If not, if you're using just one, paste exactly the same one. Now, there's a couple filters that I like to use here that are very, very important. So let me take this out. All right, so the first one is, if the subscription is paused or canceled, of course, we don't want to pass this. And so we pass if pause subscription does not exist and cancel subscription does not exist, you can pass, basically. So that's the filter. So ideally, in this case, you would have a column for pause and cancel subscriptions. If you have maybe a column for status, you just pass the active ones. That also works. So it depends on how you are using this. And how you do it is you're going to select here the webhook. You're going to run this module only. And then you are going to select one of these. Doesn't matter. You are going to choose here, let's see, this is 7 days. Well, let's change this one to 7 just to be able to run the automation. Let's choose 7 here. We're going to choose the records. It's going to be this one. And then we're going to run the automation here. Test action. is going to be sending a webhook payload or a payload to this webhook. So if we wait a couple of seconds, you're going to see the information appearing here in the webhook. We can see that it's loading and it should be good. All right, so you can see here there's a bunch of fake information from this fake client that I created, and you see days until payment renewal. So this is where you map stuff. As you can see, you can click here and map everything. As I told you, if you have the activity, so if it's if it's active, this current client, you would have here a field for that specific reason. I'm not sure if I have one on this example. Let me check. No, so you can see here I have pause and cancel subscription, but I don't think I have one for the current status of it. So we're not going to use it. But if you had, you would just select that and say that it has to be equal to, and you'd write, for example, active. And that's how you filter it. So after that, since we are using one automation for both the 5-day and the 10-day notification, we use this router. The way you do this is after this module, you would have a plus like this, and you're going to search for a router. Click on it, and you're going to have a router with immediately 2 options. If you want to add options, just click here in the middle, and it will add more. Let's grab all of this and delete. So this is what you see here. Then we do more filters. We do one filter for when the days until payment renewal equals 5, right? So it's this one right here, days until payment renewal. This would be blank. You would click and say that you want this to be 5 days or however many days you want to use for yourself. And same thing, but for 10 days down here. Now, what happens? We have another router because, in my case, I have clients that are, we communicate in English and others we communicate in Portuguese. So I want the emails to be depending on what communication language we have with the client. So that's why I have a communication language column where I just choose or I see if it's English or Portuguese. Based on that, the email is either English or Portuguese. Now, if you only use one language, no need to have a router here. These would go just directly to these 2 places here. So then you you add an email module that is a send email. You connect your own account here on ads, and then what you do is you're going to have everything connected. You want this to be the 2 emails. So who is going to be sending to? You select the email of your client that is on your CRM, database, Google Sheets, whatever. Then you just say a subject. So I created this here, Scaling Studio, which is our agency renewal notification, for example, just an example. And this here I also put a quick example just for the video. So hi, first name, because we have the first name of the client. This is an automatic reminder. Your retainer with us will renew in 5 days. Looking forward to it. As always, you can stop. Thank you. Oh. And the email has to be in HTML. As you can see here, the content type is HTML. You can use plain text also. HTML gives you a bit more freedom. You can add more things. But if you choose HTML, remember that you have to add these brackets. So all of this is line breaks. Sorry, not brackets. It's line breaks. So every single line you want to have, you would have to add these things. So each one corresponds to one line break. It's pretty straightforward. Now, once you have it, you click on save. And then, if you want, you also add a Slack message. So you can do it this way, which is an API call with Slack. You have to put a bunch of information. I have videos going over this, but I'm going to show you also a more straightforward way than this one, because this is just sending a simple message, so no need to have a bunch of things. So we would look for Slack, and we would click on create a message, and then you're going to connect your own account. So it can be either a bot account or your own personal account. You're going to select a channel, but how do you select it is you would ideally have you want to send this to your own internal Slack channel. So I was thinking if you wanted to send to the client Slack channel, you can select here based on this. So you can see here Slack channel. This would be the client Slack channel. So you can send the same message to their Slack. So besides email, you would also get a message like that. And if you want to send it to your private Slack, you would choose here, you select from the list and then select which channel you want to add by clicking here. I'm not going to open, otherwise you're going to see a bunch of channels, but you get the point. After that, you just add here the text you want to send to the channel. For example, I have here a text saying, 5 days until renewal for company name, so that we can get the client's company, so we know which client we're talking about. And we also have client has been notified by email, so that we know, okay, the email was sent to them and it's out of our minds now. Now, this is the basic thing, and if you want to send it through this, you just, write here, client has been notified by email, and also you can have the other one here. So 5 days until renewal with, and then you select company name, something like that. You can add blocks. This is more advanced. Just keep it simple. You can just use it like this. Now, once you have this set up, you can also do that 10 days renewal, not to send to the client. And here's the interesting part. It's just to automate a message saying 10 days again, same thing, until the renewal for client name. But you want to have, maybe, it's a cool idea. I just put it down here just now. You can put some action items like analyze the reports of that client and decide whether it looks like this, whether it looks like they will churn or not. So you can already start preparing maybe some strategy, and then meet with the client success manager and the consultant, or whoever is part of your team, whoever needs to be on this meeting, to provide new projects, follow-up tasks, and also upsells for that client. Because maybe if they are about to churn or they're not churning, but that you have at this point on the timeline, you need to send them maybe some upsells, then you start brainstorming on those. And then again, another action point, provide those upsells 2 business days after, something like that. So hopefully this makes your brain starting to think and brainstorm about ideas that you can have. But this is very good because it makes you and your team start thinking about everything that you're going to be a bit more proactive instead of being reactive, which is 1000% how you should be in business. So yeah, this is a very simple automation. It does that way. It gets automatically triggered based on your CRM or Google Sheet, Airtable, whatever you want to use. And you get all of this information to the client and also to you and your team. So I hope this was helpful to you. If so, please leave a like and subscribe, because it will help me tremendously, and I really appreciate it. If you're watching until the end and until right now, thank you very much for it. You're really supporting this channel. I really appreciate you.